Did you know that BaiLu's story isn't just about fame and success but about the countless lives she's touched quietly behind the scenes? What if I told you that while the cameras captured her beauty and her rise to stardom, something far more powerful was happening out of the spotlight, a journey of compassion that has rewritten the lives of hundreds of people? Stay with me till the end, because what you are about to discover will move you in ways you never expected. And before we begin, make sure you subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell, because every week we uncover the unseen side of your favorite stars and the stories that prove that kindness still exists in this world. It began years ago, long before she became one of the most admired actresses in the Chinese entertainment industry. Back then, Bai Lu was just another young dreamer struggling to find her place in a world that seemed too big, too fast, and too loud. But even then, she had something rare in her heart, a promise she made to herself after witnessing the hardships of people around her, that no matter how far she went, she would never forget where she came from. When fame arrived, it came suddenly. Her drama soared to global attention, her smile became known across continents, and her name started trending almost every week. But unlike many who lose themselves in the glamour, Bai Lu remained grounded. Every success only made her more determined to use her voice for something bigger than herself, and that's how her philanthropic journey began, quietly, powerfully, and without the need for applause. The first project she launched was small. It started with an orphanage in a quiet town where she had once filmed a short commercial. The children there had few supplies and even fewer dreams, yet she returned months later, not for a publicity event but privately, with books, clothes, and the most unexpected thing of all time, she sat with the children for hours, listening to their stories, helping them with lessons, and telling them stories about never giving up. Those who were there said she laughed and cried with them like a sister, not a celebrity. Word of that visit never made headlines. She didn't want it to, but that moment changed everything for her, because from then on, Bai Lu decided that every success she earned would be tied to a cause. Every endorsement, every role, every paycheck would in some way help someone in need. Years later, she launched her foundation quietly under a local initiative focused on rural education. The goal was simple: to bring hope to children who lived too far away to access quality schools. Her team built learning centers, provided free materials, and even arranged mobile classes for kids who couldn't travel. The media only caught wind of it after months, when a teacher from one of those schools shared how Bai Lu's foundation had saved their entire program from closing. But her kindness didn't stop there. Bai Lu went beyond education. She began supporting healthcare programs for underprivileged women, providing funding for screenings and awareness programs in rural areas. Her involvement was not just financial. She personally visited hospitals, sat with patients, and encouraged young girls to dream of becoming doctors, nurses, and leaders. Those who met her said she carried an energy that could heal hearts simply with her words. One nurse who met Bai Lu in a hospital later said she didn't come as a star, she came as someone who truly cared. She held the hand of a mother who was afraid and whispered words of comfort so gentle that even the staff couldn't hold back their tears. That was the power of her compassion. It wasn't loud, it was real. But perhaps her most emotional project was the one she started after a devastating flood in one of the provinces. She appeared there days later, quietly wearing simple clothes, no cameras, no entourage. She helped distribute food and water, worked alongside volunteers, and listened to families who had lost everything. When a young girl told her that she had lost her school books, Bai Lu personally promised to send new ones and made sure every child in that camp received supplies within a week. And true to her word, she did. She didn't just send donations, she sent hope. She sent letters encouraging them to keep believing, reminding them that they were not forgotten. Those small acts of love became the core of her foundation's message, that even the smallest kindness can rebuild broken dreams. Her philanthropy soon expanded globally. She joined environmental initiatives, planting trees in regions affected by deforestation. She supported campaigns for animal protection and created awareness about sustainability in fashion, choosing brands that supported ethical practices. Her fans began following her lead, organizing their own small acts of kindness across the world under the hashtag inspired by BaiLu, which trended for weeks without any official promotion. But the most inspiring part of Bai Lu's story is that she never used her good deeds for publicity. In interviews, when asked about her projects, she would simply smile and say, "I just want to give back the love that people have given me." It was never about being seen, it was about making a difference, quietly, genuinely, and with heart. Still, the impact of her actions couldn't stay hidden forever. Stories began surfacing from people whose lives had been changed by her generosity. A university student shared how Bai Lu's scholarship helped her finish her degree. A single mother revealed how a grant from Bai Lu's foundation helped her start a small business that now supports her entire family. A teacher wrote an open letter thanking Bai Lu for bringing hope back to their forgotten community. These were not just donations, they were transformations of lives, futures, and dreams. In one particularly emotional story, an elderly man whose small bookstore was on the verge of closing received an anonymous donation that saved his shop months later. When he discovered it was BaiLu who sent the help, he wrote her a letter saying, "You didn't just save my store, you saved my purpose to keep sharing stories with the next generation." That letter later inspired BaiLu's next project, a reading initiative that donated thousands of books to libraries and schools across the country. Every act of kindness created ripples. Each person she helped went on to help someone else, and soon her name became synonymous not just with fame but with hope, with giving, with light. Even fans who followed her for her dramas began supporting charities, volunteering in communities, and spreading kindness wherever they could. That is the real legacy BaiLu has built, one that reaches far beyond screens and headlines. And maybe that's what makes her story so powerful, because in a world that often celebrates luxury, she chooses empathy. In an industry built on fame, she builds faith. In a life filled with spotlights, she shines her light on others. BaiLu has shown the world that true greatness is not about how many awards you win but how many hearts you touch. She reminds us that even in silence, compassion speaks the loudest. So as we celebrate her journey, remember this: BaiLu's true story isn't written in scripts or magazines, it's written in the lives she's changed, in the smiles she's restored, and in the hope she continues to ignite. If you thought BaiLu's kindness had reached its peak, think again, because what unfolded next in her journey of giving was far greater than anyone could have imagined. It wasn't just about helping people anymore, it was about building something that would continue long after her fame faded. When BaiLu's foundation began to grow, she made one promise: that every project would be personal. She didn't want to just donate and disappear, she wanted to understand every story behind every face she helped. That was how her most emotional mission began: the Dream Project. The Dream Project started as a small idea to grant opportunities to talented children from poor communities. She met a young boy during a charity visit who loved drawing but had never owned a single art supply. She handed him her own sketchbook and told him to never stop dreaming. Months later, that boy's drawings went viral and an art company offered to sponsor his education. When the media asked him how it all started, he said it was because of one sentence from BaiLu: "The world may forget you for a moment, but your talent will remind them again." That story touched millions, and soon BaiLu expanded the Dream Project to include hundreds of children across different provinces. She partnered with teachers, mentors, and even actors to provide free classes and mentorship. Her idea wasn't to create fans but to create future leaders, doctors, teachers, and artists. She once said in an interview that real success is when the people you help begin to help others. One of her most impactful visits happened during the winter in a remote mountain village. The air was freezing, the roads were narrow, and her team had advised her not to go because of safety issues, but she refused to cancel. She insisted that the people waiting for her needed to know they were not forgotten. When she arrived, the villagers had prepared a simple welcome with handmade banners and candles. There were no fancy cameras, no media coverage, only raw gratitude. That night, BaiLu sat by a small fire with an old woman who told her that the villagers had never seen a celebrity visit them before. The woman held BaiLu's hand and said, "You have brought light to this place, even if it is for a day." BaiLu smiled and replied, "Light never truly leaves once it touches someone." That moment became the heart of her foundation's slogan, bringing light to lives. But it wasn't just in rural China that her influence was felt. BaiLu began collaborating with international organizations for cross-cultural charity campaigns. She supported education for refugee children and donated silently to disaster recovery efforts outside her country. Even then, she made sure it was never about headlines. Her name often appeared only in the smallest corner of donor lists, while the beneficiaries were placed in the spotlight. That humility became part of her signature, the quiet strength that defined her as not just an actress but a humanitarian. Her global recognition came unexpectedly. A short clip went viral showing BaiLu helping to carry boxes of supplies during a relief event. Fans initially thought it was a promotional shoot until someone confirmed that she had been volunteering off camera for hours. The internet flooded with admiration, but her response was simple: "I don't want applause, I just want change." Still, it wasn't always easy. Fame comes with challenges, and she often faced criticism from people who doubted her intentions. Some claimed her generosity was just a media strategy, others accused her of doing too much and not focusing on her acting. But BaiLu never responded harshly. Instead, she kept working, kept showing up, and kept giving. In one of her most quoted interviews, she said, "Let people talk, I am not trying to prove anything to them, I am trying to prove something to the little girl I once was." That kindness is never wasted. Over the years, her impact has only deepened. Schools that were once on the verge of closing now thrive with new classrooms. Hospitals that lacked equipment now run with modern facilities. Families who once had no hope now have businesses and stability. And behind every single success story, there's one name that keeps appearing: BaiLu. But perhaps the most moving story came from a teacher who had retired after receiving support from BaiLu's organization. She wrote her a letter saying, "You taught me that age doesn't stop purpose." She reminded me that even after darkness, hope can bloom again. BaiLu was reportedly so touched by the letter that she kept it framed in her office. In a rare moment of reflection, Bai Lu once admitted during a quiet talk show that sometimes she feels lonely despite her success, but she added quickly that seeing people smile because of something she did fills her heart in ways no award ever could. She said, "When I see hope returning to people's eyes, I feel complete. That is why I will never stop." And she hasn't stopped, not even for a moment. Every year she quietly funds new community projects focused on sustainability, environment and youth empowerment. She has created partnerships that now extend beyond Asia, reaching places she may never personally visit but where her kindness continues to ripple. Her foundation's motto has become a phrase of hope shared among fans and volunteers: "The smallest act of love can change the biggest pain." The emotional climax of her journey came at an event celebrating the anniversary of her foundation. Standing on stage before hundreds of people whose lives she had changed, Bai Lu didn't speak for several seconds. Her eyes glistened as she looked across the crowd of children, parents, teachers and workers, all united by one thing: her compassion. Finally she spoke and said, "I never wanted to be remembered for my fame. I wanted to be remembered for my heart." That line echoed across the internet. Fans shared it millions of times, calling it the most powerful statement of her career. It wasn't a performance, it was truth, pure and unfiltered. As her philanthropic work continues to expand, it's clear that BaiLu's legacy will go far beyond television screens. Her story reminds us that real greatness is not about power or fame but about empathy and purpose. She is proof that when you rise to the top, you can choose to lift others with you. And maybe that's what makes Bai Lu different. While others chase attention, she chases impact. While others count followers, she counts the lives she has changed. She is the rare kind of light that doesn't just shine, she illuminates others. So as we reach the end of this journey, remember this: Bai Lu's story is not just about a celebrity doing charity, it's about a human being who decided that kindness would be her legacy. It's about what happens when love becomes action and when one heart decides to make the world softer for everyone. If you believe that the world needs more people like Bai Lu, people who lead with love and live with compassion, then don't just watch. Be part of it. Subscribe right now and join us as we continue to share the untold stories of stars who inspire the world, not just with their talent but with their humanity, because the next story will reveal another side of Bai Lu, one that shows how her kindness came from a deeply personal promise she made long before fame ever found her. Stay tuned, because what comes next will remind you that even in silence, kindness speaks the loudest.